One of the first memories I ever had of my mom was her coming home from the hospital. She had this little strip on her nose that kept her nasal passageways open, and I thought it was so cool because she looked like one of the football players on TV. But little did I know that this original memory I have of my mom being sick would be the foundation upon which our entire relationship would really lay. My mom, the one who gave me life, was always fragile. Oppressed by her body, she was always near death. This was the life that we grew up with. And for much of this time, I'm so proud of my family. We worked so hard to make the most of these incredibly crummy situations. In fact, I can remember one Christmas, my mom was in the ICU. My dad, my grandparents, my brother and I, we went to Walgreens and we got a 3-foot Christmas tree. We brought it into the ICU. Our pastor back home, he broke into our house, brought all our presents to the hospital, and we had a Christmas in the ICU. And over my life, I'm so thankful for those experiences. But what's just so interesting is that I never knew that that was abnormal. I was never conscious or aware that what we were experiencing wasn't exactly okay. And it wasn't until I was sitting one afternoon with my spiritual director and he pulled me in close and he looked me in the eyes and he said, "Tyler, what you experienced wasn't fair. Much of your childhood was robbed of you. You didn't get to experience Christmas in the way you should have." And deep down, I knew he was right, but it was an illuminating thing for him to say. And you see, as we were growing up and going through these circumstances, I think we were working so hard to make the most of the situation that we were never slow enough to actually take stock of what was going on. We were working so hard to find the joy and all the happiness in the middle of these situations that we never actually slowed down and saw that which was actually there. And the truth of the matter is it wasn't okay. It wasn't okay that my mom was sick. It wasn't okay that we were in the hospital during Christmas. And it also wasn't okay that I didn't know it wasn't okay. You see, for much of my life, I've carried around wounds from that season that have deeply impacted the ways in which I interact with my friends, my family, and my life. And because I didn't know there were wounds, I didn't know what needed healing, I didn't know what to pay attention to. Isn't it interesting that as we head into this Christmas season, a time where we get space away from work, we attend religious services, society gives us an opportunity to step back and contemplate that which is going on in our story, and yet we make ourselves busier than ever. You know, the reality is we're all in an ICU of some kind. We're all trying to make the most of the various situations that we're in. And I want you to know that I see you and that those things are noble and good. But I want to caution us all today that perhaps we can be working so hard to make the most of tough situations that we're in, that we're missing the opportunities to slow down and see the actual pain that is lying in our stories. So many of us are working so hard to survive these seasons that we're unable to slow down and pay attention to our pain. And when we're unable to pay attention to our pain, we're never able to see that which actually needs healing. And so let's take a second to consider what the Advent and Christmas story may have to offer us here. You see, Jesus didn't choose to just stay in this cosmic, otherworldly, celebratory, perfect place called heaven. No, rather, he chose to enter into the pain. He chose to come to the hospital, enter the ICU, and be near us in the midst of the pain. You see, much of this narrative is not about trying to make the most of a crummy situation, trying to fake happiness in the hospital. No. Much of this story is about Jesus recognizing the pain, knowing it's there, and choosing to enter into it. Christmas is a doorway for us to pay attention to that which needs healing. The gift of Christmas is not some hyper distraction from that which is difficult, but rather it's a hopeful invitation to the one who is with us in the pain if we're only courageous enough to stop ignoring it and start paying attention to it. The joy of Christmas is not that someone isn't in the hospital. The joy of Christmas is not if someone's in the hospital, we're faking being happy. No. The joy of Christmas is that Jesus chose to enter into the hospital with us. And so may it be that today we feel the freedom to pay attention to our pain and invite Jesus into the hospital with us.